Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to take a look at one of the many different warbands in Age of Sigmar Warcry. We're going to take a look at all the fighters available to this warband, what they do on the tabletop, the abilities the warband has, and how to build a foursome on the tabletop as well. Along with this we'll look at some interesting ally options as well for the warband. In today's video, we're going to take a look at getting started with the Sylvaneth in Age of Sigmar Warcry, using the contents of the Army's Vanguard box set. Today's video is sponsored by Gap Games, a fantastic miniature wargaming store in Queensland, Australia. They stock a wide variety of miniature wargames from all things Games Workshop to some of my personal favourites, Conquest of the Last Argument of Kings, and all things Modifius wargames as well. Use our affiliate code in the link below to help support both this fantastic store and the channel as well. Unfortunately, as this box set is put together with Warhammer Age of Sigmar in mind, one model, the Tree Lord, will be unable to use any games of Warcry. Leading the box set is a Branchwych. This model is an okay leader for your force with 20 wounds, but just a defense of 3. She does, like most wizards, have a short range but high damage ranged attack and a decent melee profile as well, with her melee critical hits doing 4 damage each. The model has the leader rune mark, which will allow her to use a quad called Envoy of the Everqueen, which boosts the strength and toughness of nearby friendly fighters, and her mystic rune mark, however, will let her use a double ability called Swarm of Spites, which can deal some extra damage to a nearby enemy based upon the value of the ability used. Our first unit that we can use is part of a dual kit, and the first half of that kit that we'll look at are the Tree-revenants. Pretty cheap fighters with mediocre stats and defenses. They do have the warrior rune mark as well. This allows the models to use a triple ability called Walk the Spirit Paths, which allows them to teleport around the battlefield instead of moving normally, though they still can move normally as well, which makes these fighters fantastic treasure carriers. The first, though, of two different weapon loadouts for the Tree-revenant unit champion we have is the Scion with Protector Glaive. This model will gain the leader rune mark, as is normal with unit champions for the most part, and has a 2-inch range on its melee attacks that hit for a solid damage of 2-5. The fighter also gains a few extra wounds as well over a regular Tree-revenant. Meanwhile, the other option is the Scion with Enchanted Blade. This model loses some of its damage, but is still a sufficiently deadlier version of a Tree-revenant, and also has an extra attack over the Scion with its Protector Glaive. The alternative build for the Tree-revenants are the Spite-revenants. These malicious creatures of the forest are a higher strength and put out more attacks than their Karma cousins. They have the Terrifying rune mark, which allows the unit access to a double ability called Shrieking Terror, which has the potential to stop enemy fighters from being able to move or make disengage actions. The Shadestalker is our unit champion for the Spite-revenants, pretty standard for unit champions with an extra 5 wounds, extra melee attack, and the leader rune mark, which will allow for the use of the generic leader abilities and the Envoy of the Everqueen quad ability for the Sylvaneth as well. Next we have the Kurnoth Hunter Kit, which can be assembled with 3 different weapon varieties, and all those varieties can have a leader rune mark champion version as well. The first of these variants is the Kurnoth Hunter with Sire, 28 wounds and a defense of 4. These are very solid fighters. This variation of the model is the heaviest hitter with a strength of 5 and a damage of 3, which increases to 6 damage on a critical hit. The Great Bow variant, however, brings some powerful ranged attacks to the table. 2 attacks at a strength 4 with damage 2 and damage 5 on a crit make this a very solid fighter, but if that wasn't enough, the model still hits quite hard in melee with a strength of 5, doing 2 damage or 4 with a critical hit. There isn't much left to talk about for Kurnoth Hunters now. The swords are the last variant, and they get an extra attack over their scythe-wielding brethren for a total of 4 attacks. Their attacks come out at a strength of 5 as is standard, and with Kurnoth Hunters, but they do a little bit less damage than the scythe variant with 2 damage standard and 5 on a critical hit. Our list today, we're obviously putting one together for the Sylvaneth. Leader-wise, we have our Branchwych in the force, a Kurnoth Huntmaster with Kurnoth Greatbow, the extra attack there is really nice, and a Tree-revenant Scion with Protector Glaive, the probably better weapon loadout. Fighter-wise, we've gone for 2 Tree-revenants for some great objective carries and 2 more combat-focused Spite-revenants, and then a Kurnoth hunter with Kurnoth greatbow. I think the bows are just far superior. Battle Group 1, if we're looking at our disposition, will contain the Branchwych and the Spite-revenants for a more combat-focused force. Battle Group 2 will be our Tree-revenant Scion with Protector Glaive and 2 Tree-revenants. This will be our sort of objective grabbing force. And then Battle Group 3 is our ranged force with the Kurnoth Huntmaster with Kurnoth Greatbow and Kurnoth Hunter with Kurnoth Greatbow as well. We hope that this video was helpful in getting you started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry, and that it was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to start your own force in the game. If you have any other questions at all, please comment them down below and we'll endeavour to get back to you. And while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe and join our Discord server as well, linked in the video's description, for all our future Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry content.